we've all heard of incantations or chants or things like that. Every team, yeah, there isn't a military force on earth that doesn't use them for, we are champions, we are warriors, and they're doing their hikes and their physical activities to help them to lift each other's spirits up to do things. So what I learned and have found highly effective in my life, and I'll share one that I have, because it involves physicalness and your physiology when you do it properly. It brings up emotions. It speaks the virtues and the focus of your life into your language. And at the beginning, you don't always feel it. I use it most when I don't feel what I want to feel. But it causes a state change because it takes what I believe and who I want to become. Means I have to be it now. You can't become anything. You have to be it to become it. So therefore, I speak that out, and I speak it into existence, or in some language would say manifest it. And I combine it with enthusiasm and with energy and physiological action. So if I might, I'll just share my G Factor life incantation, which I actually call them I-cantations. Because if I have fear about something and I'm saying I can't do it, or I'm afraid to take action, that means I have to, I must. It can't be I can, I will. It has to become I must. So humbly, I'll share it. So I'll just say mine. I am a G Factor. I am living a loving, grateful, and generous life. I am a leader that's leading, not following, creating, not destroying. I'm believing, not doubting. I am a factor for good and for God. I am a leader that's defying the odds. I'm being my best. I'm creating and setting new standards, and I am stepping up to grow, to give, and to get my ideal form of life, full of God's love and abundance. I am a G Factor. Now, I say that, and as I repeat it, and as I go over and over, it creates so much energy in me. The energy just amps up and amps up and amps up, because all of the virtues I want to live my life by, all of the things I want to achieve, all the fear killers are in there. And that was created as at a Tony Robbins event that I was at, and it's dynamic how it has an impact. And I guess where I'm going with that is that I've sort of set up this word called G Factor, which to me means a growth factor, a generous factor, a giving factor, a God factor. And a factor is a key element or an ingredient in the achievement of an outcome. I want to be a factor in my life change. I want to be a factor in Bob, in my girlfriend Susan's life. I want to be a factor in my son's life. I want to be a factor that's a positive influence. And how do I do that? I have to create it. I have to choose what my attitude will be. So I use what I call incantations to really affect my state, my mindset. And there's times where I'm saying it under my breath or in my mind because I'm facing a certain fear, and it's not appropriate to be saying it out loud, but it's powerful. So that's a bit of a long-winded, but I appreciate the opportunity to share that from my aspect of life and how I overcome certain fears. What are your thoughts on the power of an incantation, Bob?
Well, Heath, thanks for sharing that. I think that's actually quite, for me to hear that, it's quite inspirational. And, I would encourage listeners, even though Heath obviously has taken a significant amount of time and a significant amount of effort to articulate what's important to him. And what he said was, by doing that, it's been an amazing inspiration to get up each and every morning and to create his future. And there's a ton of research that says that this is an amazing thing for a human being to do, is to actually create. And I'll go back to something I learned in the 80s, which was Stephen Covey said that human beings should seriously consider having a mission in life. And and that's been proven over and over again in study after study. People that have mission in life, have purpose in life, get up each and every morning, do with focus. They get up each and every morning with a list of things to do to achieve that mission and those purposes. And that's what he's sharing when he's sharing these incantations. So the power of incantation, the power of mission, the power of purpose is a mental construct that gives you guidance, gives you direction, gives you focus. So Heath, good work on that. I've got my own, of course, and I'll share that with you one day. Share this on this um, our talk show as well one day. But it does give you direction. It does give you purpose, and it doesn't have to be long-winded. It could be one simple phrase.
That's a great thing. So can I just comment on that? I appreciate that. I made a very long one. That is a life mission statement, basically, of what I'm doing and empowered to do. But I have many, many short ones, right? Every day before I go to the gym, or I play a round of golf, or I go for a run, I say, I'm a world-class athlete. Well, what does that mean? But I'm repeating it over and over again. It means I'm willing to do the activities like a world-class athlete, because, will I ever be an Olympic gold medalist? No, that's not my passion. It's not my desire. Am I going to be a number one golfer in the world? No, that's not my ultimate. I would love to be, but that's not going to be my destiny. But the point is, I can still behave. I can still choose to have the attitude of a world-class athlete in everything that I do, every gym session, every run I go on, every round of golf, with my focus, with my language, and with my physiology. So short and sweet is often better.
Well, yeah, and I think what when you started this process years ago, I would guess that it was short thoughts, right? And over the years, it's evolved. It's evolved into a more complex, dynamic series of statements where you can really articulate it because you're living it. So, but I just want to encourage listeners to consider that, to read up on mission and vision and purpose, and to explore what their particular individual, unique mission, vision, and purposes are, because that's been my experience. Is that you could have 12 people in a room and do activities with those 12 people, and while there'll be some similarities, as we're all human beings, each one would be unique. Each one would be different, very special to that person, to that person's future. And that's the beautiful thing about living on planet Earth, is I really do believe that even in the most tragic, serious, negative situations that happen to us, we can still, with those situations, move ourselves forward, improve improve ourselves as best we can. So we do have control, not over everything, but over many things, and perhaps almost all things, if you really actually seriously take a look at it. So even if you have a sickness or an illness or a serious injury, many people, I've worked through this as well. My mom's just going through it as well. It's like the future is ahead of us. Deal with it, move, take action.
Bob, I think just to summarize the question then, of, how do we predict our future? And what we've talked about is creating it. Well, ultimately, how do we create it, right? Well, we've talked about our mindset, how we control our focus, our language, our physiology, but it really is a critical thing, is it our belief that even when we're uncertain about our times, that we're able to combine our focus and all the faith. I keep saying faith killers because faith is so important. But the fear killers starts with that faith, that focus, and then moving forward and embracing it, accepting it, and then responding to it, right? Taking action. What is the real action of creation? It's defining a destination. It's creating a map, that massive action plan, having that vision that you can see it, dream it, but then you got to be willing to document it and take action, whether it's creating an incantation, whether it's doing a business plan. It can be anything, but it doesn't need to be complicated. It's really clearly defining the end destination, accepting where you are, and then ultimately the road or the map to the destination from where you are is just one step at a time.
I also want to just for the listener, I would say I've got a couple of more tips. Well, one of the tips comes actually from Heath's incantation or Heath's mission or purpose from it. So he's like often when we're doing this talk show, Heath, and is you want to be practical and pragmatic too. It's like, what can you do today? What can you do right now to be helpful? And I think there's a lot of wisdom in what you've said today as well. So I noticed that you make a choice. Like you make choices. You get up very early in the morning, my friend, and you do ritualistically these certain things that makes you have a good day. It's almost impossible for you not to have really good moments in the day because you do these things on a regimented, structured, scheduled basis, and you've built them in so it's not a schedule anymore. You just do them. And so I just wanted to say that. So here's some of the things that you're doing that I've noticed. One is you eat very healthy, so you make a choice to eat healthy. You know, you have to put X number of calories. How many calories are you doing a day now?
Oh, I don't know, probably 25 to 3,000.
Yeah. So, and you're making choices on almost every one of those calories, which is brilliant. So that's something that you can do very pragmatically, and there's benefits from that. One is you exercise every day, one way or another, and you've got schedules, you've got regimens. You're an expert at this. You can share this knowledge with other people. And I would. And buddy, you weren't always like this. You had a period in your life where you were not as fit as you are today. So you've recommitted to certain habits and rituals that have really changed your body shape and really impacted your athleticism. And I'd encourage listeners to actually just ask Heath what's going on there physically for him and eating wise for him. He's really got an excellent regimen, some practical stuff that people would find quite interesting, I think. The other thing is
being a type 1 diabetic makes it that I have to be a little bit more disciplined if I want to actually be around a long time.
That's right. That's called an external motivator.
Exactly right.
The other thing is you read a lot. You're an educated guy, so you're reading constantly, and bits here, like sometimes long structured stuff, but a bit here and a bit there. So that's a real excellent mental ritual that you're doing.
Garbage in, garbage out. It's such a simple old wise saying, right? And it's the truth of our life. I think it's something that we really, I'm grateful for your kind words. I think that
I'm not finished. I'm not finished yet because I'm kind of going through this thing that you do every day for the listener, because I think it's just wise. It's just excellent wisdom that, frankly, we should all be thinking about doing this. You choose to get excited every day. You choose to be enthusiastic every day, and even though there's moments and days that you're not super excited, that you have big challenges, you make that conscious choice every day. I'm going to wake up. I'm going to do something. I'm going to turn lemons into lemonade some days. You're fascinatingly enough, over your career, you've always chosen a career. Like you haven't let the career choose you. You choose the career. That's been your 30-year history, my friend, of making these concrete choices. And I would really encourage the listeners to take a look at the careers they're doing. And because I think the stats are somewhere around 60% of all Canadians would leave their jobs in something they really would want to do. I run an HR company, so I'm sort of up to date on these things, but lots of people are doing things they don't love. And I'd recommend against that, actually. You made outstanding choices of your friends. Like you've jettison the friends that don't make sense, that are not supporting you, and you've embraced the friends that you learn from, that you grow from. And frankly, I've met some of your friends, and they're a heck of a lot smarter than me. And and I really like your friends because of that fact. And the other thing that I would say, the last thing I would say is that you do a fantastic job of looking yourself in the mirror and saying, these are the areas that I want to improve. But you do that by first saying, these are the things I really love about myself. I really like me. I really like this about me. So you've got a foundation of clarity about what you like and what you love about yourself. I think that's so important for a person to move forward. Is you can't love somebody else if you don't love yourself. You can't have really good friends if you don't like yourself. It starts with self-like, self-appreciation for your own skills and your own talents and your own abilities. And that makes, you're able to go forward and make those minor tweaks on the areas that you want to make minor tweaks on, but you've got that foundation. So I think listeners, we're talking about getting rid of fear today. We're talking about moving forward today. And I think the stuff that Heath does on a daily basis is inspirational to me for sure. And if you have any questions, give him some questions in the YouTube comments box, and he'll get back to you.
Yes, definitely. I'm extremely interested. Bob, thank you so much for that, the kind words. But I think it does come back to one thing. The uncommon truth that I truly believe in is that it's our choice, and that we have to be accountable and live above the line. And we have to have faith and trust that we can, and we will, and we must grow. That's why I want to be a G factor, that I'm a factor in the outcome.